just one thing, dude.
What's that?
You have to use so many cuss words.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Hey, Zumi.
What's up, Lonnie?
Same old, same old. Yeah. So what have you been up to? You told me that you had a migraine yesterday.
Dude, it's not just a migraine.
It's the migraine.
The migraine. So, um, it's I have a history of migraines to where um I used to get them like once a month, and since I went to the chiropractor and got some adjustment, it's gotten down, and I think honestly, I think it's been about a year since I got a migraine this bad. So I wake up at 3 in the morning, like getting ready to go to the States, and I just feel like I have like this small, headache, and I didn't think anything of it, but I started feeling dizzy, and then I just started puking and puking and puking
Oh,
and puking.
that's the best part of a migraine, right?
So, so I got the shivers, and I'm thinking like, okay, maybe I have a bug or something. I'm like, and my wife is like, if you feel sick, you shouldn't go. And I'm like, no, I have to go because Friday was gonna be our Thanksgiving potluck, so I was
Yeah.
gonna take some cupcakes, and I go around the block and I come back, so I have the cupcakes on my hand. I give it to my wife, and I'm just like, I like shove her out of the way. And then I go to the bathroom and I just start puking again.
Ugh, it's terrible.
So so the so I take I took like four. I took 8 ibuprofen, the 200 milligrams, because I don't have the 800 ones at
Yeah.
home, and it's not working. So go to urgent care, and all they really give you is it's just an IV so that you don't dehydrate. And the headache uh didn't go away till around like 7 at night or so. But at least they were able to control the puking part, which which was nice.
Oh yeah, the puking in a migraine just makes it 10 times worse. Because it's like you're straining all of your facial muscles and your body is spasming and stuff, and it's just terrible. I used to get them. I used to get migraines a lot when I was in high school. I haven't actually had a real migraine in a long time.
Yeah, but these I mean, it wasn't as intense. The last migraine I had, I remember I was with my parents, and like seriously, I was in the ground, like on the floor crying, just in pain. Like my dad was like, I don't know what to do, but like he bought me all sorts of pills and stuff. He got me one that's called No Grain.
What is no grain?
No grain, like no migraine.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense.
And that one knocked me out for like 4 hours. And when I woke up, now it felt like a migraine, and like being hit by like I was hit by a truck, and I was just like sore, and yeah, and like really drowsy, dude. That one was not pretty. But like I said, when I went to the chiropractor, that was like almost an instant fix. So this might be my cue to say like, all right, I need to go get another adjustment.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, I don't know about you, but when migraines used to wake me up in the middle of the night. I would be fine, absolutely
Yeah.
fine, go to sleep, no big deal, be asleep for a couple hours, and that shit would wake me up like someone had just poured cold water on me or something. It's just like this terrible, horrible feeling, like out of nowhere. And you know what I can't stand is those. There's people out there that they say they have a migraine, yet they're still walking around and functioning. It's
Oh
like
yeah, I know.
it's like, dude, you don't have a migraine.
It's
But
like you have a slight headache.
yeah, It's like, you might have some bad sinus, infection or something like that, or, it's something that hurts bad. I'll give you that, but you don't have a migraine if you're lifting boxes. You don't have a migraine if you're talking to me normally in a well-lit room, you know?
Yeah, yeah. If you have a migraine, you like the first thing that goes away is talking. You really don't want to talk. Like it's kind of like when you're about to shit your pants, you know?
Yeah, and those are
You
the
just
moments that everybody wants to talk to you, though.
you're just like no, like go away.
I've had so many of those stories where like you have to go to the bathroom right then and there, and then you're walking as gingerly as you can to the restroom, and then it's inevitable. There's like three or four people that just have to talk to you in that moment. And why do they want to touch you? It's
No,
like
I don't know, dude.
it always happens. It's like you're like, one hair away from shitting your pants, and this guy's wanting to like, grab your shoulder and talk to you. It's like, dude.
Don't fucking touch me right now.
I think in those moments you're allowed to be rude, and then explain later. You know, yeah, screw migraines, man.
Yeah, I know. And like right now, like today, I mean, granted, it's almost 10 o'clock at night, and I still feel like a little bit of like I don't know, like the resonance of a headache, but it's manageable. It's not, hasn't been like crazy.
Well, yeah, that's actually something I don't think we've ever mentioned. I mean, I say ever like we've been doing this forever, but what is this, number 5, our number 5 episode?
Number 5. Yep.
But we've never mentioned that we actually record this on Saturday nights, around 9 to 10 o'clock, and we obviously go for like 1.5 to 2 hours. But I don't think people knew that because like we'll say stuff like last week I had noticed that we said like talking about the Chargers game being tomorrow, but people are
Oh
listening
yeah.
to that stuff on Monday and Tuesday, going, "What the hell is this guy talking about?" But yeah, just so you people know, I'm not a professional editor. I do all this from Google searches and stuff like that, so I apologize.
Yeah, but we do promise this: there'll be no like advertising, and we won't we won't be selling you something during the podcast. We might try to eventually, but
Well, yeah,
till
nobody wants to
yeah,
give us money right now, so
till then.
as it stands, you get commercial-free entertainment. So,
So you wanted to talk to me about cousin Eddie.
yeah,
And then
actually,
you gave me a call and say like I want to talk about cousin Eddie.
well, I do because it's the holidays, and then one of my favorite movies to watch during Christmas time is Christmas Vacation. It's like
Classic.
it's just my favorite Christmas movie. I don't know why, and I don't think it's the best one out there. It's just my favorite. But I had explained to you that I believe that Cousin Eddie is one of the most important and one of the most noble characters in any of those movies, maybe except for European Vacation. I'm pretty sure he's not in that movie. But
I don't think he is.
the interesting thing that the wife and I were talking about last night, and we actually got into this a little bit, is each one of the stable characters, like Clark, his wife Ellen, Rusty and Audrey, their children, and then Cousin Eddie and his wife Catherine, the steady characters, the ones that are always in the movies. And they're all the same actors.
Hmm.
The interesting thing is that each one of them actually represents or embodies like all of that type of person in a family. Like, of course, like Clark Griswold, he represents, every single father ever, right? He's got maybe not the abusive father, but he's got everything. Like he's got the I act like I know what I'm doing, but I don't know what I'm doing. I
Right.
take everybody on a road trip and have it all planned out, and nothing ever goes to plan. And then all the other characters have their interesting story arcs or their character arcs. But Eddie, I find interesting because the only movie that he is not actually he's not actually showing his character that much is the first one, the very first Vacation. But you can still see it a little bit, and that's why I say he's the most noble character, because in Christmas Vacation and in Vegas Vacation, Eddie is never the cause of any of the stuff that's going on. He's just like an added thing to the bullshit that's going on around them. It's always started by Clark in some way, but Eddie is the one that always ends up fixing the situation. So, like, in Christmas Vacation, he was the one that decided to go and get Clark's boss and kidnap him from his home and bring him over to Clark's home and make him explain why he wasn't gonna give him or any of the other employees their Christmas bonus.
Right.
And then in Vegas Vacation, you know, when Clark ends up spending all of his money, they can't get home, you know, Eddie's the one that digs up all that money from his backyard.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And he gives Clark all that money, you know, saying, you know, like, you've always done a lot for me and Catherine, you know, so I'm happy to give you this. But that's why I find Eddie one of my favorite characters in any movie, is just because he's weird, but he's like that family member that you don't really want to hang out with, but you love him to death. You know, I don't know. I just found the character really interesting, and I thought it would be a good talking point.
Who does Cousin Eddie remind you of? Like a live person?
In my family?
Yeah.
Well, in my family, it has to be one of my dad's brothers. I'm not going to say which one because they'll end up listening to this one day and, you know, get all pissed off. I love all of you, by the way, you know. But yeah, it's like it's not that I don't want to hang out with them. It's just like when you know they're coming over, you know that stuff's going to get weird, you know, because they just got those weird stories. And that was something else I found really interesting about Eddie, is that you have to remember that he was actually in the military, and that he got out on disability because he had to get that plate in his head. And it mentions it a few times in each movie, you know, like where he talks about the plate in his head. You know, he had to get the plate replaced with a plastic one because the metal one, every time that Catherine turned on the microwave, he'd piss his pants and forget who he was for a half an hour.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's just that weird character, but that you love.
I just remember the shitter's full. That's
oh yeah,
the shitter's full quote.
But that's what I mean.
It's been a while since.
You know, he's one of those guys that he just doesn't know any better. You know?
Yeah, but he's very loyal to his family.
Yes, very, very loyal. He's a little creepy, but he's loyal. That's all I have to say. I don't know if you have anything to say about that, but I just found it interesting.
I mean, it's like I said. I sort of remember the character, but it's been a long time since I watched Family Vacation or Christmas Vacation. I mean, and like one of the things, like, you don't really think about Cousin Eddie. Like to be honest, like the things that I remember about Family Vacation is the hot chick in the convertible.
And, she's old now.
Yeah, I know, but you know, Papa Giorgio.
Mr. Papa Giorgio.
Mr. Papa Giorgio. And like, and what's her name? Like, she just had a great set of tits. That's
what?
And she shows them too.
Oh, you mean she only showed him in the first one? That was
yeah.
I don't know her name as an actress. I'd have to look it up. I feel bad because she was actually, I always liked her characters in those movies, and she was actually on Entourage as Ari's boss.
She showed her tits?
No. Oh. God. But
I'm not gonna watch it then.
You know, what did you think about that show, Entourage?
Dude, I watched like 2 episodes and that's it. Like, I couldn't stand it.
That's what I mean. I enjoyed like the first and second season, and then it just got really weird. And I haven't even seen the last episode or the last season.
I mean, I know it's loosely based on Marky Mark's life, right? But
yeah, it's very loosely.
Yeah, it really didn't make up for. I just didn't. I didn't care for the characters. It's just like
Well,
it's
yeah,
like all right, it's just a bunch of douchebags like hanging out. All right, cool.
I can
I
honestly
guess.
say my favorite character in that show was probably Johnny Drama. It's like
I
everybody
don't
else
know who
makes
that
fun of
is.
him and stuff. Well, he's the older brother that's trying to be an actor. You know, I don't know if you remember that.
You know? I just remember an episode where they had Phil Mickelson
Yes.
as a guest star, and that's like to the extent that, so
Well, I watched the movie. Like they did the movie to kind of like end the whole thing because
uh,
apparently because I've never seen the last season, they didn't really end it, so they figured they'd just do a movie and make it a really long episode type thing. Kind of like well, I still think that Serenity was better, but like kind of like how they did that where they kind of wanted to end the whole thing with Firefly. They did the same thing with Entourage. But
hmm.
God, I
But
can't.
it didn't work out.
I'm still pissed that they didn't do more seasons of Firefly, as I'm sure
Well,
more people are.
the guy didn't really want to do it, and uh like the main character, I guess that wasn't his character. Like he didn't really. It was really hard for him to play him because he's like if you think Castle, like that's his personality.
Uh, you mean
Like
Fillion, Nathan Fillion?
yeah.
Yeah,
So when he does Castle, that's more of his personality. It's like a little like an extrovert, outgoing, just outspoken. And when he does Mal, like he has to be like really, really like just reserved. I mean, he's still sarcastic and funny as shit, but as far as expressing feelings, he just doesn't do it.
well,
So
and
you don't.
I can understand that. I mean, there's a lot of actors that they really get into the craft. Like I would say Johnny Depp, and as much as everybody might hate him, I love
Right
him.
now.
Is Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves? Keanu Reeves is also one of those guys that they just get way too into the part. Now, I'm not saying that Keanu Reeves is good at it because he's not, but you still love him, because it's still Keanu Reeves, right? I mean, he's such a nice guy outside of work,
Is
but
he?
yes, you should read up on some of the stuff that Keanu Reeves does, but
I don't know, man. Uh,
well, it's okay. We'll just stick with Johnny Depp. I mean, Johnny Depp is one of those guys that he really dives into the character, and
well,
he,
but late. I'm sorry, dude. I love Johnny Depp, but lately he's been doing shit.
I think he just doesn't care anymore, you know. But it's that's got to be hard. I mean, people don't think about that, but if you really do think about what an actor does, if they're trying to be good at what they do, like you have to convince an audience that you are this person, this character that you're embodying, right? So in order to
Yeah.
do that, you almost have to become that person. And that's why I don't understand guys like geez, Tom Hardy, like how he can get into a role like Bronson and come out of it okay.
Yeah.
It's because that's hard. I mean, that's hard. You have to like be that person for the entire time of shooting. So I couldn't do that. That's
I,
rough.
I just think it's a really I don't know. We live in a really strange world where you do realize that we're talking about people that for as work they play pretend.
Yeah, yeah.
And we put so much value on their work. It's like what work? They're playing pretend.
Well, yeah, but you enjoy it, don't you?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, but that's the thing. Like, oh, you got to convince me that you're really good at playing pretend. It's just like,
Well,
and did you even give him you make a once a year uh festival on just them kissing each other's ass, which is the
wait.
Oscars.
Well,
You were so good at playing pretend that you win this golden thing.
well, I don't agree with all the awards and stuff like that. I mean, the Oscars could be the only one, and that would be okay with me. It's like, we're gonna recognize each other for doing such a good job. Like that would be fine. And
Yeah,
that's the
but
way it
that's
used to
that's
be.
that's like me sending you uh a band that says, best friend of the year, and you're like my only friend.
But I would still enjoy it.
Yeah, but
It would make
but
me feel special, Zumi. Why
oh,
don't you
come
do
on,
that?
dude.
What the hell?
And then once a year you get the same fucking award.
This sounds like a good thing to me. I don't know. I would wear it with
Just
pride.
no, you wouldn't.
Yes, I
No,
would.
you
Yes, I
you
would.
know you know that every actor that's won an Oscar is probably not there polishing that stupid figure like every fucking day, looking at it like, oh, look at how good I am at playing pretend.
What about Bruce Willis? You know he does.
Does he?
Oh, I'm sure he does. He just seems like that kind of guy.
I don't know, man.
Let me see. Oh, what was I gonna ask you? Oh my gosh, I've totally forgotten. I
A
noticed that
lie, probably.
it was probably a lie. But,
Well, while you think, I gotta apologize because a couple of podcasts ago, I told you about Keith Richards doing a blood transfusion to clean out his blood, right?
okay.
Drugs, because of drugs. So he couldn't. I said that he couldn't get a regular blood transfusion because he had mutant blood. It was actually not Keith Richards. It was actually Lemmy from Motorhead.
Okay.
So if you read his autobiography, he tells a story about him going to Switzerland because that's I guess that's where they hook you upside down and they drain you from your your entire blood, and they put new blood in there, so it's supposed to like liberate you from addictions.
Well,
So, but when Lemmy goes to Switzerland, they do the analysis. They say like, yeah, we can't do this on you. You have your blood has mutated from all this fucking alcohol and cocaine that you've done. That if we if we do a regular transfusion on you, you will die.
that's messed up. Okay, so you're saying that all the drugs and stuff have pretty much changed the chemical
The,
makeup of his body.
yes, to where if you give him, any type of regular blood, his body will reject it, and it'll be like giving him poison,
And
and he'll die.
that's not a cool mutant, by the way. That's not like
No,
Wolverine, you know.
that's definitely not an X-Men cool mutant power.
Well,
Uh, but there is some I guess a myth about Keith Richards actually doing the same procedure. He said that he's never done it, but other sources, quote unquote, say that he did. He's just not.
would you admit to that?
I mean, if I'm old as Keith Richards, yeah, I mean, why not? It's like, yeah, go write a fucking book about it.
Is he really that old? I mean, he's in his 70s, right?
Yeah, he's old, dude.
That's not that old. I mean, he's not like,
Well, but
Melisandre taking off the
it,
necklace old, but,
but yeah, but it's still not that young.
well, well, that's messed up. I don't, I,
Yeah, but so I wanted to apologize because it gave the wrong person. It's actually Lemmy from Motorhead.
well, I'm sure that the 12 people listening to this, will
Didn't
really,
fucking know. They
yeah,
don't even know who Lemmy is.
yeah, they either really didn't notice or they accept your apology.
They're gonna be like, "Who the fuck is Motorhead?"
Well, at least I think some of the people that are listening are a little are at least old enough to understand who Motorhead is. But
Yeah,
yeah.
they
I
probably didn't like Motorhead, right?
did anybody like Motorhead? I mean, besides like
I,
your uncle.
I enjoy Motorhead. I mean, granted, I don't listen to them every day, but
I see you're wearing your headphones this week
I am
at my request
at your request.
because I could
So,
hear myself.
yeah, hear the echo. We're not professionals, all right? I do this on my fucking living room.
Yeah, it's just the way I do. I do it in my living room too, but I try to be as professional as I can, even though it doesn't sound professional. I was gonna ask you. There,
Ask away, my friend.
there was a book that I used to have when we were in the Air Force, and I had seen it at a Hastings, which, by the way, I have to get into Hastings. Remind me to talk about Hastings because I have something to tell you that you
What is what is Hastings, Lonnie?
no,
Just kidding.
um, this book was called Etiquette for Outlaws. I don't know the author, um, but basically, what this book was,
It's a great fucking book.
it was a great book, a great book. It was hilarious, but it was actually really informative. It would give you the proper etiquette for, say, things that aren't necessarily every day for everyone. Like one of them was, etiquette for smoking a cigar. There was some for going to a strip club. There
Dating
was
a stripper.
dating a stripper. I mean, there was
It was pretty much
the tattoo section was one of my favorites.
yes, that one was really cool. It was like like street smarts
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a way. Yeah.
And honestly, I have to say, like if you do any of the things that were in that book, it was actually kind of helpful. But I was thinking about it the other day, but it brought up a question in my mind of headphone etiquette. Now, what I mean is like when you're wearing headphones, why do people always want to talk to you? It's like, okay, say you're wearing both. If you have earbuds, I can understand if someone doesn't see them and they start talking to you. But why do they think that it's okay? Like once they see that you have headphones on, that you can hear them, and then they get pissed that you didn't respond. It's just, I'm just asking because I have it all the time when I'm at work and like someone comes out to the facility that I'm at and I have my headphones on and I'm working. Excuse me. Have my headphones on and I'm working and they they come up behind me and they start talking, but I mean clearly I have headphones on.
I mean, are you supposed to have the headphones on?
Yes, I mean it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. I mean it's not like it's a rule at my job. But unless of course I'm driving a vehicle, then I can't wear headphones. That's just stupid. But
What?
but first of all, why would they try to be talking to you if you're driving a vehicle? But it brought up a lot of questions like what is the proper headphone etiquette for not only the person wearing the headphones, but the people trying to interact with the person that has the headphones.
Don't.
Well, basically, right? I mean, would you tap them on the shoulder if you want to get their
I,
attention?
I do. I
Eh,
mean, it's kind of well, it's one of those things. Like if you have earbuds, then I mean, I don't know. I mean, it really depends on the job. If you know that you're talked to like most of the time, then yeah, don't fucking wear them. If you're not, then I guess that's the price that you have to pay for wearing your headphones.
well, it's not always in the job either. I mean, it could be like if I'm walking down the street and I have my headphones on and somebody wants to talk to me or say something, or it's like tap me on the shoulder or something. Or like even better if like if I'm okay with you talking to me, I'll usually leave one headphone out. Like I'll just be
Right.
wearing
Yeah. I
one,
mean,
and if I want to be able to hear the world around me as well. But it
what's
just
really messed
amazes
up?
me that people are so pissy about the fact that you can't hear them.
Well, what's really messed up? That I mean, at work, I do that shit where I leave an ear free so that people can talk to me and I can just like react faster, right? But the way that my cubicle is, it leaves my left ear exposed, and that's the one that's fucked up from from the military. So I'm always going like, huh? So it
So
really
so
doesn't
you're a
matter.
dick. That's what you're
So
saying.
I am. So it really doesn't matter I'm still gonna go like, huh? Say that one more time. Like,
Well, it's just one of those interesting things. Like nobody really talks about it. And I was just wondering because I've had people come up to me and just try to talk to me, and I have my headphones on and I won't hear them. And then they're pissed when they finally get my attention because they're yelling at that point, and even then I can barely hear them because I listen to my music loud, you know. But
Oh, which reminds me now that you mentioned about headphones and music, I was gonna ask you because I know you have one. Everybody's have one. If you don't have one, then you're the biggest piece of shit liar that I know in this world. But there's like I think every guy has like a secret band that they like that if other people knew that you liked it would make you look like a pussy.
Coldplay. I'm a shameless Coldplay fan.
Oh man,
And
you're
actually, it's so bad that I actually want to go to a concert.
you're such a fag, dude.
No, you're
Well,
supposed.
mine's a little bit. I think mine's worse than
Oh, what's yours? NSYNC,
no,
Backstreet
no,
Boys,
no. It's close though.
98 Degrees.
Savage Garden.
That's not so bad, and it's not
I,
great. But
I mean, it's still not. You don't go around telling people like, oh yeah, I really love Savage Garden.
okay, when people ask you who your favorite bands are, who do you say?
Stain.
Stained. I say Metallica. I go with a
Okay,
nice. I go with
yeah,
a generic,
it's like nobody believes you though.
but I don't care. It's that's one of those conversations I don't want to get into because I'm afraid I might actually say something that'll, be embarrassing, like Coldplay. Well, actually, that's probably bad that I said this on this. Now, anybody that listens to this will know. But
Yeah.
in fact, I might make it our bumper music one week.
just, just have yellow in there.
No, I was thinking The Scientist or something like that.
Oh,
It's a good song. It's a good song.
yeah, but so I don't know. What do you think? Do you think like every guy out there, no matter how macho they think or pretend to be, that they have a secret band that they like, it's gonna make them look like a pussy?
Oh yeah, I think there's tons of like butch dudes out there that probably like Enya. you know?
Like they'd be like, I secretly like Fergie.
Now, did you say Fergie?
Yeah, I did say Fergie.
It's Fergie,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and that's Black Eyed Peas, by the way.
Yeah, but didn't they all like split?
Yeah, and then she did her own thing. I never found the attraction. It's like some guys were saying she was hot and stuff. I just never.
Yeah, you just had to look from like the apps down, dude.
Yeah, even then, I don't know. She always seemed like she always seemed like older than she looked. I don't know. There was just something creepy about her that I just didn't find attractive at all.
Speaking of creepy, did you see that one video that's going around about J Lo and Mark Anthony?
No, isn't that her husband?
No, dude. J Lo's a gold digger. They haven't been together in a long, long ass time.
Well, I don't pay attention to all that stuff.
Well, you'll love this video if you look it up. Like they gave Mark Anthony an award of some sort. I don't fucking know, but J Lo goes in for like a a kiss, and it's like a mouth to mouth kiss, right? But it's like just like a small kiss, and everybody's like wooing them, and Mark Anthony he just goes like, well, I've known her for a long time, it's kind of like it's okay, it's just a kiss. He's like, I love her, and then he goes and says, like a sister.
Oh,
The look in J Lo's face. Oh my god, dude, it's priceless.
that is one woman who I cannot stand.
Me neither. I hate her.
Now, there was one movie that I actually thought she was okay in.
Selena,
No,
come
no,
on.
come on. Hey, you're better than that. No, The Cell. Did
Oh,
you ever
I thought
see
you were,
that?
dude. I thought you were gonna say Ice Age because you didn't have to see her; you just hear her voice.
No, that would be Queen Latifah. Because
No, no, she's in the new one.
Well, I know, I understand that. I'm just saying the person her favorite movies of mine are the ones where I can't
Oh,
see
okay,
her
okay,
is
I
Queen
get it.
Latifah because I can't stand watching Queen Latifah. I think she is a terrible actress. And I mean, most rappers aren't very good actors. I'm sorry.
No.
And
You know, I'm staring at you, 50 Cent.
yeah, I mean, I would say that Eminem was awkward in 8 Mile, but I still think that was okay.
Yeah,
But
well, Eminem playing Eminem.
yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
but 50
it's
Cent
it's
and
it's
Ice Cube and you know Ice T, all the ices,
all the ices.
you know, they're just not very good actors. And I think Queen Latifah annoys the hell out of me because every single movie she's in, she has to reference her big butt.
Well, I mean,
She even did it in Ice Age.
she does have a big butt, though.
Yes, but everybody knows that, and you don't need to keep talking about it.
I mean, that's like John McCain going yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
I mean, uh, it's not McCain, is it? McCain is the congressman or the senator.
Oh, McClane. Yeah, you're right.
McClane.
McClane. Yeah. Shit.
Oh, that brings up a good subject. Do you? I think I've already asked this, maybe on the podcast. I don't know. I can't tell because this is basically just a conversation between you and me, so it's hard to sift out the conversations and the podcast. But
Spit it out. We're going nowhere.
do you do you consider Die Hard to be a Christmas movie?
uh, I think we did talk about this,
Yeah, I think we may have.
and the answer was yes.
And but why is that? Because the only thing that's Christmas like during that is that it's during Christmas time when it happens.
Yeah. So it's a Christmas movie. It's a
Okay.
it's a guy Christmas movie.
Well, I consider it a Christmas movie because it's like one of the only action films that are, you know, for Christmas. I mean, doesn't he
It,
have that for 1 and 2? Isn't the second one during Christmas as well? On the plane?
uh, wait, was the first one on Christmas or just opening on
No, no. The
Christmas?
first one was Christmas. Um, I don't know what. Okay, during the first one, when they're in the hotel, the Nakatomi Plaza, um, they were all trying to like all the employees were like having like a little Christmas party and stuff, to kind of celebrate the opening of the hotel and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The second one I can't remember because it happened on the plane, and I don't remember if that was during Christmas, but I'm pretty sure none of the other ones have actually been during Christmas. I just can't be sure about number two. But,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I gotta go watch it again.
oh yeah, there's like I said, there's lots of Christmas movies or lots of movies that are the time frame is around Christmas, but I'm pretty sure there's only one Thanksgiving movie, and that's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And people always think that it's Christmas. It's not Christmas. That's actually Thanksgiving.
I can't say that I've actually seen that movie.
Yeah, you need to see it. That's a good one. That's Steve Martin and John Candy.
Okay, sounds like something I would watch.
I love John Candy. That guy was
Yeah, you do.
hilarious. The only guy
uh,
that ever has the same name as his hobby.
I know, right?
That's mean. Yeah.
Fuck.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, you got Thanksgiving coming up, dude.
Yeah, we do. Are you gonna make some turkey?
Yes, we're actually having the whole family over here instead of going over to the in-laws this year. Just kind of like a change
Well,
up, but it's
wait,
all.
well, define the whole family.
Oh well, okay. We're having my mother and father-in-law, my brother-in-law and his wife, and
Okay.
I think. Oh no, Grandma won't be here. Um, Actually, that might be it.
Your
So
parents flying up there?
no, my
Or is it,
parents.
yeah. Or is it just the in-laws?
Yeah, it's just the in-laws.
Oh,
No,
okay.
my dad. and my stepmother, they're going to my uncle's house like they do every year. But this will be the first time in a long time where we've actually had Thanksgiving at our own place. And it also kind of gives a little relief to my mother-in-law because she usually does it every year. And that's a lot of work.
Especially like after everybody leaves,
Oh, yeah.
and if you didn't use the Costco disposable dishes and stuff, dude, I sort of get that's what I use in my house. Like I buy the red cups
The Dixie
and
cups.
yeah, and I buy the what you call it the fucking paper plates and we still have to wash dishes.
Yeah, yeah, but
I,
I have 4 kids. I know what having dishes is like. Christelle does the dishes for the most part, like 99% of the time, because I hate doing dishes. Yeah, but I take them out. I always take them out of the dishwasher. That's my job, and I hate that. But I just can't stand doing dishes.
yeah, see, I like Anna's really good at doing like dishes. She's a clean freak though. So that I mean I use it to my advantage. She on occasion will ask me to like grab like some paper towels and like dry them out. So I do.
That's the
Uh,
weirdest compliment a man could give his wife. You are
I,
so good at washing dishes, baby. I mean, you're sure to get nookie that night.
I know, but it's but yeah, but paper plates. I mean, fuck, dude, greatest invention ever.
Oh yeah.
So, but speaking of
Fuck the trees,
Thanksgiving,
right?
I know. Hey, like I said, it by the time I die, dude, I don't think it won't be my problem. All right, this global warming shit and it's like the sun turning off and yeah, it's not gonna happen in my lifetime. I
Yeah.
hope. So,
Yeah.
so
But
I can be a piece of shit. I pay my taxes.
I paid my tax. Let me tell you a story before we get into the next part of Thanksgiving here. um, Working where I do, it's pretty secluded, and there's not a lot of people around. I think there's a bar across the street and then like a sushi place. But there's really nothing around where I work because I work like in a satellite location. And every now and then I'll get drifters that'll walk up to the building.
Drifters.
Yeah, like people that like either like a homeless guy or
Oh,
somebody
dude.
hot, like methed out of their mind, and
Oh shit.
well, I had one guy. This was a couple months ago. Some guy walked. You have to walk pretty far to get to the building too, because the driveway it's meant for buses. So it's a pretty long driveway all the way down to where the gas or the gas island is, and he walks all the way down, and I saw him, but I was already working on a vehicle, and this guy saw me see him, so he stopped and turned around. So I'm like, oh, okay, no big deal. So I finish the vehicle that I'm working on, and I go to drive it around, and I don't see him, so I don't think anything of it. And as I'm sitting in one of the vehicles, waiting for some more vehicles to come in, I see this guy walking in my side mirror, walking through the building, and he's smoking a cigarette.
Whoa.
Now, granted, it's a shop, it's a vehicle shop, so it's really really high ceilings and it's really open and everything. But the dude's walking through a building smoking a cigarette. So I get out of the car and I go, "Hey man, you can't be here." Now, because I work at a place that's funded by taxes,
Yeah.
this guy, he says, "Well, I pay my taxes. I can walk through here." And I'm like, "Yeah, I pay my taxes too, but I can't go into the Pentagon whenever I want." It doesn't make any sense. Your logic is flawed, dude. But he gets all pissed off at me because I'm telling him, "Hey man, security comes around here like every 15 minutes And I have no problem having them, put you on the ground and taking you off the grounds. He starts, yelling obscenities at me and stuff like that, and saying,
Like what?
like, fuck you fucking asshole, I pay my fucking taxes, what the hell's wrong with you? And then as he's leaving, he says, well, this is a transit facility, can I get a ride down to the college? I'm like, no, you can't get a ride down to the college. So, but the best part of it is that this guy's wearing
Oh
a
man.
Nike t-shirt that says just do it. And I was just like,
Oh, one of those guys.
yeah. And he had the, like the flat build baseball cap on, and I'm like, oh,
I thought you were gonna say, and I gave him the ride.
no, I
You
don't
have
give
an
people
interesting
rides.
argument there, sir. You know what? Let me go get my keys.
But yeah, it's just amazing to me how brazen some people can be, and I don't even think he was drunk or high. I mean, he was a
Oh, he
younger
wasn't?
guy. He was younger than me, and
He was probably gonna go in there and like take a shit in a fucking truck or something, dude.
I don't know what he was trying to do, but he wasn't homeless. I mean, it was pretty obvious. He had decent clothes on. I mean, he had that,
Oh, so you're
douchebag
saying
Nike shirt
so
on, but he had like etny shoes, and
wait, so you're saying that you have to dress shitty in order to be a homeless guy?
it's not necessarily a prerequisite, but it's certainly an indicator. I mean, there
Uh
are days when I look like I'm homeless.
yeah, but well, I wanted to do that experiment. Like, because I don't know if this happened like up there in the States, but here in Mexico they had this going on like in plazas that have like the main uh what you call it?
Was it like a hub for the
No, like
buses?
the commercial centers, like they
Oh, okay,
like
yeah,
well, I guess the equivalent to a fucking mall.
yeah.
They had kids like dressed nice, like old hipster looking, and they were like asking for money and shit. And
I've
they were and they make a decent amount of fucking money, and it wasn't like, hey man, you get a quarter like your regular homeless guy does.
like, hey, you
It
got
was
20
like,
bucks?
yeah, it was like, hey, can I borrow like $2 or $3? And people would just fucking give him money. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, I had a lady at I think it was either a Rite Aid or a CVS pharmacy. I walked out of the store, and this lady who I'm not gonna say exactly what she looked like, but this lady, don't
She was
say it,
black,
don't
wasn't
say
she?
it, Zumi.
She was black. You can say it. I probably had the same lady asking me for
Well,
$5.
this was in Palmdale,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. Of
she
course.
she owned a vehicle, or at least she had a vehicle that she got out of. I saw her get out of a PT Cruiser. Now, it's not the most expensive car in the world, obviously, but it's not the cheapest either. It's not the nicest car in the world, but this thing had like, 22-inch wheels and had rims on it and everything. And she walks up to me, and this, her attire was really nice, like really nice stuff. And she had what looked like diamond earrings on and a bunch of rings on her fingers. Now, I can't tell if they're all real, but, just for anyone listening, a cubic zirconium ring is not necessarily cheap if it's big. Those things are still expensive. So I'm just going to put that out there. A cubic zirconium ring that looks like it's like 4 carats, if it's not a diamond, it's still going to cost you a couple $100. So, okay, so this lady
I ain't
walks up to
say she
me.
a gold digger.
This lady walks up to me and asks me if I can give her money for gas.
Oh my god! Like, really?
And I said, no. And then she
No.
proceeded. I've never had this happen. She asked me why. Now,
Oh my god!
trying to hold back my feelings of wanting to slap the shit out of her, I asked her, what do you mean, why? I'm like, first of all, I don't carry cash on me for this reason. Secondly, you know, and I'm looking at her, and I didn't say this, but I should have. It's like, you have all this shit on. You can sell that fake ass ring for $20. You know, I just don't understand people. It's like,
Was she a lady of the night?
no, she
Morning.
wasn't. She wasn't dressed like that. She was dressed like she was going to church.
Huh. Interesting.
And it wasn't really late at night. It was like 7 o'clock at night. You know, so I don't know. I feel like these people that are panhandling, and they're not even panhandling, like people just in parking lots asking for money. It's like I would
Yeah.
much rather hear a story. You know, like tell me a story. Like what the
Yeah,
fuck happened to you?
I was just about to tell you that I had an experience like that, but it was in L.A. And this lady, like, her story actually sounded like pretty coherent and congruent. And I gave her $5, and then she fucked it up because she went, "Do you think I can maybe have 10?" And
Oh,
I went, "No, give me my 5 back."
did she give you the five back?
Now she just went she just like she did like this little takeaway thing like no. And I went and
Damn.
but I did say beggars can't be choosers.
You know, that was actually an entry in that book, Etiquette for Outlaws, like giving money to the homeless or giving money to panhandlers in general was like, once you give them the money, it's not your choice what happens to that money.
Right, yeah.
Like you can't like give them money and then say, "All right, I want you to go and take that money and go buy some food." It's like,
Right,
dude, it's not
right.
your choice anymore. Even if it
Yep.
was, are you seriously going to follow them
Well,
and make
well,
sure that they buy food? You know?
yeah, so my another way to see it is my friend, like, he's an economist, right? So he told me about I told him about how bad I felt when like you see all these kids like in the street like selling with chiclets and asking for like a coin or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, it's like you're looking at it the wrong way. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, you gotta see it as a business, you know, because I guess they do this in cells. So they have like certain people working in like certain areas.
You mean like they pool their tips?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So they'll like so let's say they have like the woman that has like the crying baby. Like they probably borrow that baby from somebody else. So they go ask for
That is so
money.
fucked up on so many
I
levels.
know. I know it is. They go ask for money and then they come together and they throw in and then everybody gets a cut, right? Kind of like commission. So so he's saying like you're looking at it like the wrong way. It's like, these guys are offering you a service and I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like, yeah, they're offering you guilt and you decide how much guilt you want to buy.
That's messed up,
I know,
but it's also
but
genius.
exactly, right? So think about it this way. It's like next time you're with a homeless, like just ask him for the story. And if you like the story, then you don't necessarily have to buy guilt. You just, bought a story.
Wow, that's amazing.
Kind of like entertainment. And I'm like, oh, like that's so I don't give money anymore.
Well, that basically explains the reason why these guys that have those cardboard signs and they have like some awesome, totally made up, ridiculous story like how ninjas stole his family, so he has to go pay for karate lessons or something. You know, it's like, dude, I'll
I
give
mean,
that guy money. That's
right.
hilarious.
And if somebody else puts like, need money for booze, at least I'm not a fucking liar. Then I'll appreciate that more than,
Well, here
you
in
know,
Washington, and it'll end up being there in California too, is need to have money for weed. You know,
yeah.
I see
Yeah.
those guys a lot.
I mean, at least you're being some people will be like, yeah, at least you're being honest. Here's a buck, you know. Uh, so yeah, so it's if you see it that way, like you're buying guilt, then
Well, there was that story, and you've probably seen a bunch of them. They're the stories of those panhandlers that do it for a living, and they make a lot
yeah,
of money.
especially in Vegas, like $800 a day.
Well, yeah,
Fuck
that was the
you.
story that I was actually going to talk about. Is the guy that they did a documentary on, and he had no problem at all doing the documentary because he's
Fucker was
like, do you know?
driving a Beamer.
Yeah, he's like, do you really think that all of these people that come into Vegas are going to see this? and it was kind of offensive to the crew because they're doing the documentary. But you have to be honest with yourself. It's like, what do I have to lose when I tell you
Yeah,
that I might have one or two guys that I already have that recognize me?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And this guy was making bank like during these seasons, like the tourist season in Vegas. And the guy had like this 2-story house. It was like 6 bedrooms, and
yeah.
it's just
Driving a
ridiculous.
fucking Beamer.
And his uniform is hobo clothes.
Yeah, which brings up, that kind of proved my theory that every BMW owner is a fucking asshole. Yes, I said it. Every BMW owner is a fucking asshole.
Oh, I
Unless
feel like BM.
unless you drive like a 5 Series, and that's okay. You're
Oh, you
like
mean
in
like the
between.
specialties?
Yeah.
What if it's like an older one, but it's a nice one?
You're still an asshole. It's
Okay.
a Beamer, you're still an asshole.
Well, I hate that trend where like, especially when after like Fast and the Furious came out, that everybody was trying to put body kits on their cars.
Dude,
Like that was annoying.
everybody on the first one, everybody with a fucking 4-cylinder Honda had like neon lights,
Oh yeah,
and they were all they were like all of a sudden fucking street racers. I'm
oh
like,
yeah,
dude, like,
yep. It's like, well,
get a
but the
fucking
thing that
light.
amazed me is that like there was a was it a '98 Supra on that movie?
I don't
I don't
remember.
I don't know the years for a Supra, but there was that nice little Supra that they tuned up and everything, that orange one. And after that movie, everybody was going out and buying these like '80s and early '90s Supras. It's like, what are you doing? You know. But it's
Oh, this is badass. It's like, yeah, yeah, it's 4 cylinders. Oh man. So, anyways, sidetracking back to a
Thanksgiving.
uh Thanksgiving. Uh, yeah, we're not making a turkey this year
Why not?
because we didn't we didn't plan it.
You gotta celebrate.
So,
Don't Mexicans celebrate Thanksgiving? American Thanksgiving?
well, no, I mean some of them do. Like if you have American family, they probably do, but for the most part, no. But no, but this year we didn't plan anything. Like usually we have like 2 turkeys.
Do you guys celebrate Conquistador Day?
Yeah, kill a Lonnie Day.
Yeah, kill the native day.
Uh,
That was a conversation that I had with my employer, with the manager, is that when I first started working where I'm at, they had Columbus Day as one of the days that we could have off, and I'm like,
oh,
why are we celebrating Columbus Day? And he just looked at me like, what the hell are you talking about? It's a day off, just be happy. But I'm like, I don't celebrate Columbus Day for the plain and simple fact that I'm Native American. And he's like, well, what does that have to do with it? I'm like,
oh
oh,
my god.
wow. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, oh yeah, let's celebrate Columbus Day, the day that the white devil came across the endless sea and gave us, gunpowder
Lonnie,
and syphilis.
to his defense though, you look pretty fucking white, dude.
And I sound white,
Yeah,
but
you
I
sound white too.
I can sound
You sound like Ben
native if I
Affleck.
want to. I can do the Indian voice.
Please don't.
No,
Oh man. So Black Friday,
not doing it.
what's so black about it?
I don't know. I don't know where the phrase came from. I don't know why they
I
call it Black
I,
Friday.
I have a theory, but it's gonna sound really, really racist.
Well,
But I'm not gonna tell it. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
the thing about Black Friday is that yes, there are really good deals on Black Friday. I've seen them. I read them every year. Like you go through like the Target catalog, or you go through, like Rite Aid has some really cool deals on stuff for some reason.
I want to go to the Black Friday for weed though.
You
Like
know what? They
now
actually
that it's
have it
legal in
here.
Yeah, now that it's legal in California. I mean, not that I plan on smoking the weed, but maybe I can resell it
Like
later on.
they have some really cool deals. Like I won't say that I partake because I have a job that requires me to stay clean, but They actually do. Like they advertise and stuff because it's completely legal here. It's been legal for like 2 years or something, and it's interesting. The places that they have there, or here, they actually employ really knowledgeable people, and they're not just stoners. I mean, they're growers. They're people that know what the hell they're talking about, and it's just a weird experience. Like if you've ever gotten marijuana from a dealer, and then you go into one of these marijuana stores, huge difference. You know,
Really?
because you don't feel like with a dealer you wouldn't feel completely comfortable, right? No matter what the
Oh,
situation, unless you know the guy.
yeah, but no, but even if you know the guy, like you don't know if he's gonna sell you like shit weed or
That's what I
shit
mean.
drugs.
Well, at
Yeah,
these
yeah,
places,
I get it. I get it.
they have regulations on everything, and they have to know what they're talking about because some of the customers that come in go in there for pain management or any other medical reason, and they have to know what they're talking about, and they have to be able to sell you the correct item. It's
Oh,
just like, okay,
so
say
if I go and I tell them like, hey, I have chronic pain, blah here,
yes,
they'll.
they'll know
Huh.
exactly what you're talking about, and then they'll go through the catalog with you and say this will give you this, but it won't necessarily give you this. But if you choose this type of strain, then it'll help you with this and with this.
How the fuck do they do that?
I don't know, but it's incredible. I mean, like the
I mean, it seems to me it's just a fucking plant. Like,
well,
how do they?
don't
How
don't
do they?
don't say that too often because there's probably people that will eventually listen to this and go, "What the hell is he talking about?" There's tons of different kinds.
Well, I mean, I know, but like, the only weed that I smoke is the one that I got from my local, from my local dealer,
Well, it's
and
it,
like way back in the day, But I don't. I mean, if you tell me if there's hybrid plants, like how do you decide, like, or what kind of studies are there behind, like this plant is good for that, and this plant is good for that, or this strain is good for this, and
well, oops, excuse me. I think the best way I've had it described to me is that when you think of being a connoisseur of marijuana, and I know it sounds weird, but when you think of being a connoisseur of marijuana, you have to look at it as like a wine connoisseur or a whiskey connoisseur,
okay,
where
that makes
the
sense.
different locations of the growing or the different conditions in which you grow it and how you hybrid it, and that makes a huge difference for each strain. Now I don't know if they can actually, well, yes, they can. I mean, they've crossbreeded like sativa and um, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot the name of the other one. Sativa and what's the other major strain?
I don't
Oh my
know,
God, I
cannabis.
no, I'm gonna get so much shit for this.
I, you don't. You obviously don't know your weed, so
I
that's a good
don't because
thing.
I don't smoke it, you know. But
Well, I don't. I don't know weed either. I just know weed. That's it.
well, what I say is that I wish we could go back to, and I'm sure that they still have this stuff, but I wish we could just go back to like 70s weed and 60s weed, where it's just weed, and people were smoking that stuff all night long, and there wasn't like you know, some weird hallucination or some like, oh dude, this will get you so fucking high, like it's like, dude, I just want to get high. I just want to I just want to get a little stoned and feel comfortable. That's all I want to do.
Do you think weed can or smoking weed can cause cancer?
I think smoking weed can, yes. You
So
mean,
it's so
but
it's
if
the
you mean
smoke.
just the marijuana and THC itself, no. At least because I've never seen a study that shows that those items, those two, like THC or just marijuana in general, causes cancer.
So is it the smoke that causes the cancer?
I believe so, but I can't be sure about that because I'm not an expert. So,
I know. Well, I mean, I know the only reason why cigarettes are still legal is because all the studies have been correlations. They're not causations, even though they claim that. Well, actually, no. The way the advertisement works is like may cause. So the verbiage there. the may cause implies that, it not necessarily.
Well, that's the thing. That's the weirdest part about cancer, is that from what I can tell, there's actually nothing that we can definitively say causes cancer, except for things that are like direct results. Like
Like
say,
radiation.
yes, like say like radiation, like some gamma radiation or something like that, where obviously you're going to get a tumor, you know, or have a growth of some kind, or
Right.
I'm talking like fumes of some kind, or um, smoke inhalation. I don't ever think that there's been a definitive study on saying this caused this man's cancer, because you have people out there that live till they're like 90 years old, who smoked cigars every day of their life and ate red steak, and they're fine, and then they
Yeah.
die. And then you have people out there who are healthy, who eat salad every day and chicken breast with no seasoning, and then they get cancer at 50. It,
or or you have the guy that doesn't come out of the closet in time.
I'm gonna,
Boom, cancer.
but yeah, I don't with marijuana. Like I said, I don't think there's anything that's ever tied anything to cigarettes definitively and let alone marijuana. I mean, it's just one of those things that's like, if you're if you're gonna get cancer, you're gonna get cancer. And that's why I say, it's like, I mean, life is too short anyway to worry about any of that stuff. I mean, obviously you're not going to do things that are, going to lead you to get cancer, which I believe that there are some things that don't help at all. But that was that whole debate way back in the day that they had, with Congress, where the lobbyists for big tobacco were trying to say, no, we don't have anything in there that causes cancer, but they have tar and they have all these additives for the flavor. And it's like things that just are not meant to go in the human body.
Right.
But it's like, just go out there, and if you're going to smoke cigarettes, which I don't condone you do, if you're going to smoke cigarettes and use tobacco products, just use it pure. Roll your own, be at least a little smart with it, because it can't help to put some of that stuff in your body that Marlboro and, Camel and all of them put in the cigarette, even though it might taste better. Because it does. You remember those Camel Turkish Silvers?
I do.
Oh, man, those were good.
One of my friends got me into popping a Tic Tac and then smoking.
Yeah.
It actually it wasn't bad.
Do you do the orange ones or the wintergreen?
The orange ones.
Oh, the orange ones are good. Did you ever have those strawberry Tic Tacs?
No.
Oh man, those are
No,
good.
that doesn't sound good though.
Now, see, people may have heard me last week on the podcast, which I'm trying to mute myself when I'm doing it, is I smoke a vaporizer like a like a douchebag. Go ahead, give me your comments. I don't care. But I do that. But I've seen people. They have here in Washington. They have all kinds of products, of course, from marijuana, and they actually have the e-juices that have the THC in them. Now that seems a little much to me, because I get more nicotine out of this thing than I would from a cigarette. But no, it doesn't have those adverse effects like I wake up tomorrow morning and I feel like crap because I had 5 cigarettes the night before. And the nicotine doesn't come from a tobacco plant, which amazed me. The nicotine for these e-juices comes from the leaves of tomato plants. That's weird.
Tomato plants?
Yeah, tomato plants.
Like the fruit, I mean.
Yes, the vine fruit.
What?
Yeah, I had no idea there was nicotine in tomatoes.
What?
Yes, Go look it up. It's just nicotine. It's not like it's, you know, like tobacco has, sole possession of the market on nicotine. Nicotine is just a chemical. That's crazy, isn't it? Did I just blow your mind?
Yeah, you just. I'm gonna, I'm gonna get the. I'm gonna buy the fucking tomatoes with the vine now, and I'm just gonna chew on the vine and see
I
if I
think
get
you
a.
have to do an extract, though.
Ah, motherfucker.
Now, whatever happened to salvia?
It's still legal. It's supposed to be illegal, I think, by next year.
And by next
It's
year,
either
meaning that they really don't care.
no, yeah, well, not anymore. I think it was 2017 or 2018. There was going to be a ban on salvia in California.
Dude, that stuff was messed up.
Yeah.
I don't know why you do it as a recreational thing.
Well, that's the thing. You don't.
So
You're you're
why
a
do you do it?
you're a fucking dumbass if you do it as a recretional thing.
Yeah,
You do
because
it as a
it's not a
spiritual thing.
high. Yeah, it's not a high.
Yeah, it's a hallucinogen. So, uh, I mean, like reading a little bit more into it, like it's a plant that gets in that grows naturally in the northern borders of Mexico.
Of course, it's Mexico.
Yeah, and uh, like I was actually I told my brother-in-law about it, and cause, I told him my experience with it and how it gave me like this what do you call like those astral.
Oh, astral projection,
Yeah,
like the outer or the
out of body
yes, out of
experiences,
body
but it's
experience.
like they call it like an astral trip or something like that, or yeah,
Astral
whatever.
projection.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Astral projection. So he started researching on it, and he actually found a guy that uses salvia to treat heroin addicts.
You know that actually makes sense.
so so I guess they give him like uh they do a lot of pre-suggestions, right? Like this is how it's gonna feel, this is what you'll experience, this is how like most people will go in, and how I'm gonna guide you through blah 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 blah. So he installs some phobias in on the pre-suggestion, and they smoke salvia, and they do like the drummings and the singing and stuff, and I guess they get a trip so fucking bad, but for them it's kind of like because it's done through pre-suggestion that it's going to be a spiritual trip. When they come out, they have no withdrawals, and they just go like, yeah.
Like
Kind of like,
I'm pretty much done with drugs.
yeah. Like like I found my true calling, I have my spiritual animal guide and whatnot, and uh done.
You know?
So he's like, you should do this shit, and I'm like, no. I
No, thank
I
you.
I'll, it's like if what you're telling me is that he's just doing pre-suggestions and then inducing the drug, then I'll just do a pre-suggestion, induce trance, and then take you through the trip myself.
Just do any and just do um NLP instead. It's
Yeah,
probably a lot
and
safer.
yeah, and hypnosis. So it's and then it's one of those things where like there's a lot of research in hypnosis that for treating drugs
Yeah.
that that I'd rather take that route than to like because I know how bad the trip can be on salvia, and like I wouldn't
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
anything.
It's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
anything other than a good trip, no.
Yeah, if you're wondering, just go YouTube and go search that stuff on people tripping out on salvia. It's not a good thing.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to do it with friends that like
Are
will
dicks.
fuck with you. Yeah.
Well,
So
they have a show, a YouTube channel that I actually find really interesting. It's of I think they're either Swedish or Dutch or something like that. They don't speak English, but there's subtitles. Well, it's really interesting. It really is. It's this guy. It's just the guy and a girl, and the
aren't the
guy.
subtitles legit though?
Yes, they are. The guy, he takes all types of drugs right there at the desk. And the girl kind of helps him through the process. Like if it's a hallucinogen, she's really calm. She kind of, like has him gently describe what's happening to himself. And then they do this for like all types of drugs. And this poor bastard that takes all this stuff, I mean, he seems to be okay, but it's like he's like one of those functioning drug addicts, where he could take something and just be off of it the next day.
Yeah.
Just really rare type of person. But it's a really interesting YouTube channel. I'll have to find the name of it. But they did one where he did mushrooms, and that was actually pretty enjoyable. It's like because you see the changes in his outlook on the whole thing. Like
Right.
she says, I'm gonna test something. I'm gonna test, like bring in a negative thought just to show you what happens to him, and then I'll slowly bring him out of it with good thoughts and stuff like that. But she's really good at it. Like she's really good with the suggestion and like moving him into better places and stuff. So I'm guessing that's like her part of the profession, her part of that little show is she's kind of like a professional at doing this kind of stuff, and he's just a professional at taking
Taking
things,
drugs.
which is kind of
uh,
weird, but
what? So what do you do for a living? I take drugs, man.
and
lots of
I
lots of
make money,
drugs.
you know,
Yeah. That would be
no dick involved.
no dick involved. which we're speaking of dicks, we had we've been talking about a certain person that lied a lot.
Oh yes,
Uh,
should we
uh,
mention his name?
no, we're not gonna mention. We're not gonna give him the credit of or what is it? The privilege of mentioning his name. Well, so we're just gonna call him John Doe.
Okay, little Johnny.
Johnny.
Now,
Little Johnny, the compulsive liar.
I actually blame you and Alvin.
Me?
Yeah,
What the
yes.
fuck?
No, no, no. I'm gonna explain. I actually blame you and Alvin for building this guy up before I ever met him.
Oh my god.
No, no, dude. Because when you were telling me about him, I was having issues with my vehicle. I had a Ford, or no, a Chevy Blazer. Remember that old ass Chevy
Oh,
Blazer?
that. Yeah, we almost died in it
Yes.
once.
Um, that thing, like I was having problems with it, so you both of you assholes, tell me you should just I should just talk to him because apparently he's like Jesse James, he can fix anything. And then we found out later on, no, no, he was just lying about that, or he was just joking, so we didn't really think anything of it. Like I
Well,
asked him,
What happened to your blazer? Let's start that because I don't remember.
honestly, I don't even remember.
You know,
Something happened, like where it died, and
okay.
it wasn't the battery. I mean, it was something bad. But I think I had you and a couple other people help me push the thing back to the dorms or something like that. But that was the beginning. And then from then on, this person continuously lied. Like, not small lies either. Like, really big lies. Like, he always had an uncle or, a family member that could do something. If it was part of the story, he had a family member that could do whatever you're talking about. But
Yeah.
not at like a amateur level. He always had like a family member that did it at a professional or expert level.
Yeah. So if I tell you like, Lonnie, I just bought a Corvette,
Then he
you would
knows a guy
say,
that owns a Corvette and works for Chevy and gets them all the time or something like that.
or you would say like, well, I just bought a Lamborghini,
Yeah, yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
But
that
they
kind
were
of
really
guy.
bad. But my favorite one, which we always talk about and we always joke about, it's like our inside joke, is the
I
88
think he
foot
was.
great white shark.
I think he was a BMW owner too.
Yeah. Was he liberal?
Yeah, probably. So, so yeah, so the 88-foot great white shark.
Now, how did
Oh
that
my
even come
god.
up? Because I wasn't there for that story.
Well, I think it was because like Psalm got like into fishing because it was like fishing season or something, And all of a sudden, like, little Johnny just starts throwing this fucking story about he had an uncle that went to Alaska or some bullshit like that, and
Where there's not many
they,
sharks.
yeah, that it was like no shit. They saw an idiot, or he caught, like, harpooned, dove into the water with a knife.
Fucking Aquaman, that thing.
No shit, 88-foot great white. And like, you guys decided to call him out on that shit like right away, I think, and actually started Googling like
Oh yeah.
record, like the record size for
Yeah,
the
because 88
for great
feet. I don't even think is there a whale? A whale that's big?
I don't know, dude. I
I
don't
mean,
think so.
because 88 feet, that is huge. I mean, that's like that's
That,
smaller than most roller coaster drops. I mean, you know,
and I think the record one was 30 something, or how much? Actually, I could probably Google this right now.
yeah. But it was a ridiculous story. It was like we knew it was false, but we were kind of like trying to give him a chance to kind
To
of pull,
admit,
yeah,
yeah,
well, at
to
least
admit that
pull
he,
away from that and go, oh, no, 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 it's not 88. What the hell am I thinking? You know, it's not 88 feet. It was like, 20 something feet or something like that. Just be like,
oh, here we go. 36 feet is the, oh, no, wait. 37.
that's still
37 feet
that's still
is,
pretty big. That's
yeah, but
almost a
it,
megalodon. It's
it's less than half of what, or more than half of what he was saying, right? More than half? Yeah.
half of 88 is 44.
So, well, I guess inverse. Yeah, I'm thinking it the other way. So it's less than
Half.
half of what he was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Public math.
Sorry.
But yeah, but that wasn't the only thing. I mean, he did all kinds of stuff. He even went so far as to try to split up my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, by telling lies about me. And I
Were
don't.
they lies, Johnny? Were they?
Of
Were they
course they were.
really?
Of course they were. Of course they were.
That's not what I hear.
Don't get me in trouble. She listens to this.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, the guy was. But there's guys like this all over. I've realized, it's like maybe not quite as bad as he was because he would do it all the time, like about everything.
Yeah, he's one of those liars that doesn't know that he's lying until, and then when you show him like that he's lying, he's like, oh well, that's what they told me,
Yeah,
and that's like his
that's his
defense.
out.
It's never a, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just full of shit.
Sorry, I mean, he could have just as likely said, you know, I'm sorry, I just have an issue. I just wanted to be part of the group, and try to say something cool or and I would
I
have
just
felt
want
bad for him enough to like be okay with it.
I just wanted to fit in, guys.
And,
I have
and
I
wouldn't
have
you have been
nothing
okay
more
with
to
that?
say. No,
You wouldn't have been okay with that if he
no.
would have like apologized and been like, you know what, I'm
Well,
just weird and
no, because I don't want to be with a person that's dishonest, like, or that's, that will deceive you
well,
if he has the chance.
well then don't be with a woman. Oh.
Are we really walking this road again, Lonnie?
No, no, no. We spent too much time doing it last week anyway, so
I know. By the way, how did it work out?
it was fine. I mean,
There you
I,
go.
I, I still have a beautiful wife who loves me, so she hasn't
That's
left.
great job, dude.
Now, we have like a bunch of stories of being in the Air Force and all the things that happen not necessarily related to the Air Force. But one of my favorites was the Canadian border story.
Jesus
Now,
Christ.
I'm not going to go into why we were going to the Canadian
No,
border.
you should go into the why, because
I'm
this is
no,
especially
I'm not going to go into that because I would rather it be unknown.
throw some
For
fucking balls.
but okay, let's just say that for
It was because you're chasing
No, no,
The
no, no.
power.
No, no, no. No, no. But what happened when we got to the Canadian border?
Lonnie, we gotta give some backstory.
Okay, we were driving because we were going up there to see a girl.
No, we were going after some pussy.
Well, maybe, but now,
The possibility of getting laid,
well, okay.
and that was a big fucking possibility.
Well, when we got up to the Canadian border agents were pretty decent.
Well, yeah, but it's important to mention that back then, like they didn't have as many restrictions, or at least we thought, as they did like after 9/11, right?
Well, yes, but this was after 9/11, so
No, but
it's,
but I'm saying like in the Canadian border that they didn't have the same let's say security measures that they had in Mexico.
yes. And the thing that surprised me
Or
was that,
or at least that was our understanding
well,
of it.
the fucked up part was is that we got up to the border of Canada, and in order to turn around to go, just to go home, we actually had to go into Canada, like, what, 20 feet,
20 feet and then you turn.
and then a U-turn, and then go back into the United States. And because of that, just because you went up there and you were rejected by the Canadian border, now you have to deal with the Canadian border agents, turn around, and go talk to the United States border guys. Now, this was the most fucked up situation because of the fact that all we did was drive up. We didn't act
Well,
like,
yeah,
you can say that we went into Canada, but we didn't really go into Canada, right?
yeah. But we fucked up because we didn't take our passports. We didn't have passports, and we thought that we could just go like back in the old days without one,
Yeah, with
except your military ID or your
and a
state ID.
driver's license or
Yeah,
something.
your driver's license or state ID. And it turns out that no, you needed we needed a passport. And the Canadian guys like had us on the phone asking like, hey, what kind of documents do you have? And we said this and this, and they said that's no bueno, go back.
And we were like, okay.
Okay, cool. I guess we're
Disappointed,
not.
but it was like,
I guess
okay.
yeah. I guess we're not getting I guess we're not getting late this weekend. So we we come back.
And come back is a very loose term. It's like you just turned around.
And I blame Alvin because he fucked us up, dude.
I don't remember this part.
Well, you were driving. I was in the middle, and then he's on the window side, on the passenger window side, and the border agent comes in and he says, "Hey, what happened?" So we said like, "Yeah, we got turned on. We thought we could cross, but we don't have our passports." Yada yada yada. But Alvin looks, full-blooded Japanese, and the guy says like, "All right, so where you guys from?" And then this asshole goes and says, "Well, uh, Okinawa."
Oh,
And
yes,
then he
that's
looks at
right.
he looks at me and goes Mexico, and then he looks at you and he goes California. And the guy's just looking at us like, okay.
And then he
And
proceeded. Who did he take first?
he said he pretty much said like park over there. So you park. And then so we're thinking he's gonna get all of us out and talk to us or whatever, or talk to us as a group to like get the facts right. But no, he comes in and he says, "You too," in the office. So
And that
Alvin
those
and
you two was not me.
yeah. so so at this point, I don't know what you were doing in the car. Like,
Sitting
were
there
you just
sweating.
waiting? So you're just waiting
Yes, they
the
didn't do
entire
anything
time?
with me. They didn't ask me questions. They didn't do anything.
Wow. See, they bring me in, and then he's like, "So what's this that you're from Mexico?" And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. Like, I'm from California. I was born and raised in Mexico. I'm a U.S. citizen. I have my born abroad. Like, I wouldn't be in the military if I wasn't." And he's like, and the guy like looks at me. And he throws the most racial uh
I don't know if it's a slur.
comment.
Yeah, just comment.
No, it's like the most racial comment I've ever heard in my life. And he said, "What's your green card?" And I'm like, "What the fuck, dude? I just told you I'm a U.S. citizen." He's like, "You have a green card?" I'm like, "No, I've never had a green card. Born abroad." I told him, "Are you familiar with the born abroad term?"
Oh, so you got snippy with him?
Well, I mean, not that snippy, but well, no. I mean, I was young. I was,
Scared?
I was scared, but I didn't say it, verbatim. But I did say, it's like, no, I never had I'm a U.S. citizen. I don't I have a born abroad certificate. So,
Not with you though.
not with me though. But I, show him my military ID, I show him my state ID because I didn't have a driver's license back then. And, I told him, like, I can't be in the Air Force if I'm not a U.S. citizen. And the guy just looks at me like, and I don't think he was able to think of like any other questions. But, dude, I felt uh, like, the guy was just, you know, it was just wanted to like deport me or something.
Well, I think didn't he ask you if you spoke English?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, before he pulled us out, when
Yes, that was in
Alvin
the
went,
vehicle.
yeah, when he went, Okinawa, Mexico, California, he looked at me and he said, "Do you speak English?" And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, yeah.
Pretty well, do you?
Uh, so yeah, I get out and then I see you in the car just looking and you're just like moving your head, like going like, "No fucking way," like this didn't just happen. Uh,
Yeah, because all we did was a U-turn. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
then Solemn comes out and he has a face like motherfucker.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Alvin of all people was definitely saying some sarcastic comments in that room. You know?
Yeah, well, I never asked him what he did, what he said, uh, but I think they asked him about the green card too. I'm pretty sure,
Oh, but nothing for the white boy.
right? But the white boy was just like, "Okay, you guys are good." I think he almost like high five you too.
Make sure you
He
take him
probably,
back to the camp, buddy.
uh, you know, I think in that while you were waiting, he was probably lecturing you like, "You shouldn't hang out with them boys," you know. That ain't right.
No, they had the one agent like because there was two. There was the one guy standing next to the building or that little hut, but he stayed there, like he was still outside, you know. But yeah, that was a messed up situation. And what amazed me is that we actually had to go through customs with the United States, even though we were in
Right there.
the United States. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, dude, you just saw us come up, you know. But whatever. I mean, I understand that they have to do their job and everything, and they have to make sure. But I mean, the process that we went through was just like, really? Is this
That
actually happening?
you mean that Solomon and I went through.
I,
You didn't go
I
through
say we
shit.
because I feel for you. You know,
It's like you didn't go through shit.
I
We,
vicariously
you
lived
know
through you.
what Solomon should have said was Okinawa, Mexico, and then he could have been like
Choctaw
native
Nation.
no native resort or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the Double Eagle Casino. Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, that was really messed up, that Canadian border. And oh, which reminds me, a couple of days ago, like, so I have my Sentry Pass, right?
I don't know what that
So,
is.
well, the Sentry Pass is like the trusted traveler pass. So it's a special lane where you just scan your ID card, your Sentry Pass, and you go through a customs officer, and he might ask you like if you have anything to clear. He might check your trunk or whatever, but um, most like the most common thing for him is to say, "You have anything to clear?" You say no. He gives your card back, and you go right through. And it's like at the most, I think 30-minute wait
Okay.
with if it's like heavy traffic. But normally you're in line less than 5 minutes. So when I took my Sentry Pass picture, I did it without the glasses, and I had a goatee going on.
Oh, so they
And
gave you that bullshit treatment.
so the guy grabs the ID card, and he looks at me, and he does a double take, and he looks at me again, and then he goes, "Can you take the glasses out?" And I'm just like, so I turn my glasses, and I'm looking at him, and he looks, and then he's like, "How did you get this card?" And I'm like,
I'm not really sure what you mean,
and
officer.
yeah, I thought I heard, "Where did you get this card?" And I said, "Well, San Isidro, right here." And he's like, "No, how?" And I'm like, "How?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, and this is how I answered. I'm like, "I applied online. I went to an interview, and I got it." And I look at him like,
Did
"Is
you
that what you want?"
did you want me to write a step-by-step process so you can get yours?
So he just looks at me, and he just goes, and he just hands it back, and he's like, "All right." And I'm like driving away, and I'm like, "What the fuck did this just happen?" I was kind of like waiting for him to like signal the other officers, and I was gonna like,
Get
you know,
M16s pointed at you.
well, they have 9mm and shotguns.
Oh,
Uh,
that's better.
yeah, so it's like, but I'm like, "How did you get this card?" I'm like, "What?" Like, I applied online, went to the interview, and I got it. And I straight up told him like I got it. Like, dude, I don't know what kind of question is this.
Yeah, I think some of those guys, it's just like with cops. Like I really believe that most police officers and most sheriffs and stuff, like they're good people and that's what they want to do. Like they have like there's some police officers that have a passion for it. They want to serve the public and just kind of, protect people and everything. But I also believe that there's a small percentage of those guys, the same with border agents and stuff, that do it just to be a bully and, just to have a badge or something like that. Like they were the guys that beat the shit out of people in high school. And since they can't do it anymore legally, you know, they go out and get a badge. And I feel it's the same thing with border agents. Like there's some of those guys, you don't get it very often. But it's like any job. Any place that you go to, there's going to be that one guy.
Yeah, I mean, this reminded me of you should probably tell this story. Remember when I got my Blazer
When
and I
you got
didn't,
it,
yeah, like I didn't really feel comfortable driving it, so you drove it, and this guy pulled us over, this cop.
ugh, for meandering in the left lane, and I gave him shit about it.
It was like an episode of Super Troopers.
Well, the reason I got pulled over was bullshit. Because I understand that if you stay in the left lane, like the fast lane, for too long, like technically, yes, you are kind of breaking the law. But the thing is that I was in the right lane to begin with, because I always like driving in the slow lane if I can. That's just my thing. I like driving in the slow lane. And I was behind this guy who was going like 5 miles an hour under the speed limit or something. So I figured I'm going to pass him. And I got onto the left lane. There's only 2 lanes. I got into the left lane. And when I got in the left lane, he sped up. It's just being one of those guys. Whatever. So I tried to go a little faster. He sped up. I tried to slow down. He slows down. So it's just one of those situations where I couldn't get back into the right lane. And then there's a cop that came up behind us. And he's having to deal with this bullshit too. So I figured there's no way, there's no way he's going to pull you over for that, right? Nope. Lights come on. So I pull over thinking he's going to pull over the guy that's screwing with me in the right lane. Nope, that was us. So he pulls me over, and I remember.
And you fucked up on this one because you pulled over on the left side.
Well, I couldn't do anything because the guy on the right side was in the way. And he even mentioned it, and I told him that. The cop mentioned, he's like, "You're supposed to pull over to the right." And I'm like, "I know, but, I can't do anything when douchebag over here, and I have to stay safe, and I don't want you to get hit or anything." So that wasn't even the worst part of the conversation. He asked me for my ID and everything, and I hand him my driver's license, and I hand him your insurance and your registration. I say it's his car. I'm just driving it. And he asked us where we were going, and I said we're just going back to the base. And he goes, "You're going back to the base?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Yeah, we're in the Air Force," and that was when I had all my piercings in. And you remember? Do you remember him looking at the ID and looking at me and going, "You're allowed to wear all that stuff when you're on the base?" I'm like, "Yeah. I mean, I'm not on duty. It doesn't matter. It's like I'm not in prison." And I remember him saying something about calling my commanding officer or something like that to like verify that I was in the Air Force or something. I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. Just do what you got to do. I want to go home." And he said that he was going to let us off, or let me off, with a warning saying I can't meander in the left lane. And I remember asking him, like, is that even,
What is that?
what
What
does
does that
that
even
mean?
mean?
And he's like, you can't be in the left lane. And I explained to him, I'm like, you saw, you're right behind us. I mean, I can't get back into the right lane. And I remember saying something like, I thought it's legal to pass. And him saying, you're like, "Oh, yeah, it's legal to pass, but you gotta pass." I'm like, "Yeah, but I have a cop behind me. I'm not gonna go 70 just to pass this guy." You know? So it was just a ridiculous situation, but like I said, that doesn't happen very often. Most of the police officers and highway patrolmen that I've ever encountered have been nice guys. And I want to be nice to them because they have a hard job. But there's that one guy every now and then, you
I
know.
had a guy, I had a guy who pulled me over once, and then, well, I mean, picture this: I'm driving a Honda. It's when the drug cartels uh, they were. I mean, it was rough. It was like 2009. There's a lot of drug trafficking here in California. So I'm driving a Honda. I have a hoodie on, and I look Mexican, right? So, so I
You look
get pulled
typical
over.
Mexican.
I get pulled over. I'm going to school. So like I'm running late already. And I'm driving. He pulls me over, and I'm like looking at him like, what the fuck? Like, is this even like? And I'm like, oh, it's a border patrol. So the border patrol pulls me over, and the guy's like, hey, actually, you know what? I think that's my car. Hold on one second.
All right, go ahead. Now I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna make this clear that I really don't have anything against cops. I really don't. I do have something against anybody in any position of any type of authority that has some type of agenda to be a bully. That's all I'm gonna say with that. And are you back? Was it your car?
It was my car.
Oh well, I'm gonna leave it in. I'm not taking that off.
All right. So I get pulled over, and this guy like, he comes from the passenger side, and I know some uh like people that work in the sheriff's department and stuff, and he said one thing to do when you get pulled over is if um to let the officer know that you kind of know like what's up. You turn your emergency lights, turn the car off, take the keys out, and just put them like on your dash,
Yeah, sure.
and then you just put your hands on the wheel, right? And I did that, and the guy like, I turned the window down, and he doesn't even ask for my license and registration or anything like that. He just goes like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what's it going, officer?" And he's like, um, "So when was the last time you went to Mexico?"
Like, are we just having a conversation, officer? Or
like really, like that was his opening question. It wasn't like license and registration. It was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he's like, "When was the last time you went to Mexico?" And I'm like, uh I mean, last week, I guess." And then he's like, "Open the trunk." I'm like, "All right." So I just hear the gunk, and then he comes over to this, and he's like, you play golf?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Like, what
I'm
the
actually."
fuck is going on?
I'm like, "Yeah, I'm actually going to golf school right now." He's like, "No shit, you're going to golf school?" He's like, "Yeah, like damn, like I should. I wish my partner was here, like, cause he likes to golf. Like he really would appreciate like a lesson or something. He sucks." And I'm just looking at him like, can I go now? And he's like, "All right, man. Well, just be careful and yeah, go to school." And I'm like, okay."
That's the part where I would make the mistake of asking, "Are you bored?" I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
like,
just wondering.
well, that's the thing. He didn't even give me a chance to like say like, "Why am I being pulled over?" or anything. He just got he saw the clubs, he got happy, and I just went with it.
My
It
dad,
could have been it could have been worse, right?
oh, it most definitely could have been worse. You could have been on the hood of your car, you know.
When was the last time you went to Mexico? And I'm like, shit.
Please, officer, don't shoot me, you know. No, my dad had a story about he had a Chevy Caprice, you know, like an older one, you know, like the boat size ones, you know, where
Hmm.
the engine compartment was so big you could jump in it and work on the engine, you know,
Oh yeah.
and this thing had spoked rims on it, you know, just it looked like a Vato car, you know. You know, and he gets it. He got the car just because it was another car, you know, that he could use. That's just my dad. He just goes out and gets cars through trades and stuff like that. And him and his wife, my stepmother, they had just moved to Thousand Oaks, California, which I don't know if you've ever been there. It's really nice. You know, a really nice part of California. It's, you know, got palm trees everywhere, and it's, you know, one of the richer communities, and it's, you know, mostly white. And my dad got this car and drove it home, and he starts driving through his part of town in Thousand Oaks, and he got pulled over. And he said the cop walked up, looked at him, and said, "We're just doing some checkups," and said, "You know, you can go," and walked back to his car, and the cop drove away. And my dad goes,
Whoa.
"It was the car, wasn't it?" You know, just like, you know, this the stereotyping that happened in that short amount of time. It was just amazing. You know, it's like, what were you checking up, officer? You know, you know, if I was a little darker, would I not allowed to be driving in this area? You know, so
Oh
it does
man.
still happen. It does
It
still
does still
happen.
happen. Yeah. Another time they had checkpoints and I didn't know that there was an ambulance coming. So the guys that are in the checkpoints are giving the signal to come forward, but I guess they were giving the signal to the ambulance. So I started going, and all of a sudden I hear stop, and then I look to my right, and I have this guy like with his hand like stop and fucking other hand on gun and holster open,
Oh my God.
and I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? And then this guy's like so fucking pissed, and I'm looking at him like, what? And he just yells at me like, didn't you hear there's an ambulance coming? And I'm like, oh, like no. And then he just points to like the checkpoint area. He's like, "Go over there."
Like,
He was fucking pissed. Dude. He was livid.
he
Like
might have been
like
having a
serious.
bad day. Maybe his wife left him.
Well, yeah. Luckily, he didn't like unholster the gun and fucking shot me. So I drive and I'm like, God damn it. So and then I get this like uh this officer had I mean he might have been Mexican. He might have been Filipino. I don't know. They all look alike to me.
Wow.
There's my racial comeback. No, but the guy was nice. He's like, "Hey man, like, so what happened over there?" And I'm like, "I don't know." The guy said that there was an ambulance. I didn't see it. I started, going, and he yelled at me and sent me here. And he's like, "Oh, okay, man. Well, let's see your license and registration." And like, give him the stuff and open your trunk. And again, golf clubs in the back. And he's like, "You play golf?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Damn, man, like, I always wanted to play golf," and he just goes blah 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 blah. And I'm like, meantime, I'm like, dude, like, it's fucking late. If they close the door on me, But he just went on and talking to how he liked to play and he played on the weekends and this and that, and then he's like, all right, man, well, just be careful and next time just you know keep an ear open.
So
I'm like, all
what you're
right.
saying is golf clubs are like a get out of jail free card?
For the most part, yes, that's been my experience. Have golf clubs in the back, and if they're golfers, they'll be like, oh, okay, and if they're not, they'll just go like what's your handicap? And you just go,
Better than
do I have
yours.
no? Well, if you just well, here's the thing. Like if it's a test and you say you don't answer my handicap is you always say my index.
I don't really
Because
care. Yeah.
well, if you say index, it means that you tell them like, hey, I fucking know what I'm talking about. And it's not a fucking handicap.
I
It's
think
an index.
I think that you should have a better story for when people open up your trunk and they see golf clubs. Like say something like, you always got to be ready for the zombie apocalypse or something. You know?
That shit won't fly.
Oh, why not?
Uh,
You know?
no, because you know, well, I guess not a lot of people have like, especially officers. They don't have that kind of sense of humor. They don't get the sarcastic sense of humor.
So you're saying the
But they,
cops don't have a sense of humor?
I said most of them don't have a sarcastic sense of humor. My sarcastic sense of humor.
Oh, you mean sick and twisted?
Exactly. So they, like I said, that guy when Solemn said, Okinawa, Mexico, California, he didn't get the fucking joke.
Yeah, and
You
neither
know
did we because we were pissed. You know?
exactly.
Like, dude, not
So,
here, not ever.
but but if we would have had golf clubs on the back, he probably would have been like, "Oh, you guys were gonna go going on a golf trip," and would have been like, "Yeah, but you know what? We don't have passports. We fucked up."
Well, I'll remember that next time you and I take a road trip.
Yeah, he
You
just
have to
a
put golf
fucking
clubs in the trunk.
golf clubs in the trunk. So that's has been at least that's been my experience with cops that pulled me over on every single location that they pulled me over by myself, not with you. I had my golf clubs and they saved my butt.
So you're saying I would be a bad thing?
No, I was saying the time I went with you, we got pulled over. We didn't have no fucking golf clubs, and then
We
we
just
got
had a
asked.
white boy and a Japanese boy.
Yeah, and then remember, oh, because I remember you saying like, well, like I'm sorry, isn't the speed limit 65? And he just goes, yeah, and we were like, dude, this is like Super Troopers. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, that was a good story. That was fun. That was something we were pissed about for like a week.
I know.
I think I actually went on my first deployment right after that.
I think so. Yeah.
And I remember nobody coming to see me when I came home. I remember that because I didn't tell you and I didn't tell Alvin. I didn't tell anybody. So when I came back, I don't know what I expected. Like there's all these people with their families and stuff like that. And I came home and I'm like, well, I guess I'll walk home. And then I got back to the dorms and you're like, Lonnie. I'm like, yeah, I'm home. I'm like, when the hell did you get back? I'm like, dude, just now. Where have you been?
Oh man, that was funny. But so yeah, I mean, I guess I guess to the listeners I'll say, hey, cops aren't bad. They're good people. They're just I don't know, egocentric.
Well, that's basically what I was saying when you got up to turn your car alarm off. Is that I really have nothing against police officers or border agents or anything like that. I just have a problem with the types of people that decide to be dicks. In
Well,
any type of authoritative position.
well, see, here's the thing. Like to just to play devil's advocate a little bit, for them is it. There's only three type of people. That there's cops, there's perps, and there's civilians, and that's it. There's no gray area.
But it
So
really does make sense that they would have that mindset, because you have
yeah, I
no
mean,
idea when you walk up to a window what you're gonna get.
right,
And
and
that's scary as shit. So I have the utmost respect for police officers. It's like, dude, I wouldn't want to do that. I'd probably get shot just for running my mouth. You know.
yep. But and so you just got to remember that there is a human being behind that fucking uniform badge
Just
and
not highway
stuff.
patrolman from California.
Exactly. No.
Which actually used
uh,
to be one of my landlords. You know this.
yeah, I do.
Ugh, what a dick.
Yeah,
It,
that guy was something.
it was interesting. I heard I'm pretty sure I saw something about that house. Like he couldn't pay the property taxes or something, and he might have been losing it. So that kind of sucks.
Uh,
You know, like because that also has to do with the tenants not paying rent and stuff.
yeah,
And so
I know.
I don't wish that kind of evil on them, but you know,
I know the feeling. You know, the only evil I wish on people when they piss me off is that
their
I hope.
headphones will snag on a seat.
No, it's I hope that someday they're driving home and they have to take this massive fucking shit and they don't make it.
I've had it happen.
Because that's funny.
You can recover.
Yeah, you can recover. I mean, you're gonna have like pieces everywhere, but you'll live. It's not the end of the world. You might smell a little bit.
Well, I'm sure people are glad that this week we didn't talk about politics. I think we did that in the last two.
Yeah, that was. Well,
It
let's not veer into politics
No,
right
I'm not
now.
going to. I'm tired of the whole thing anyway. So speaking of tired, man. Well, what are we at? Like 2 hours? We're at 2 hours.
About 2 hours. Well, let's finish with this. I I there's no secret. I listen to the Bill Burr podcast and the Joe Rogan podcast, right?
Hell
You
yes.
do the same. So on this one particular podcast, Joe Rogan and Brian Redband,
Yes. Yeah.
and Redband was talking about how he takes boner pills,
Yeah.
like from a fucking gas station. Like he buys boner pills from gas
What, like the
stations.
stingers?
I
Oh
don't
no, no,
know.
no, not the stingers. Those are like caffeine pills. Go ahead.
Well, but I guess the boner pills that he takes, it's like when you analyze them, they're like a Chinese fucking brand, and it's like full of fucking steroids and shit.
Ugh.
So he says that if you ever want to like, go at it with a lady and like really like leave her, just like in pain, like pleasure pain, take these boner pills. Like, and he says like he has like some specific boner pills. I don't remember which one they are. So if any of
They'll
the
be our
listeners,
first advertiser.
yeah, if any of the listeners know, like send the name of the boner pill that he mentions. But I do have a Viagra story that I want to share with you.
You've
I don't
actually
think
taken Viagra?
I've actually taken Viagra. So my sister-in-law
Oh, this isn't starting well.
got these free Viagra pills, like the free samples, because we are in Mexico, and uh, that's what people do. They come here to buy cheap Viagra, right?
Yeah, and oxys, but yeah.
So I get the fucking blue pill, and this is when Anna and I were still dating. So I'm thinking I'm gonna give her the night of her life.
Sure, sure.
And like beforehand, the only exposure to Viagra I had was a couple of my dad's friends saying that yeah, they got the pill and it's worked for them and stuff. But there was this one uh, boom operator that I work with in Riverside, and he told me it's like, yeah, dude, like if you ever want to like give a chick a good time, like just take Viagra. And I'm like, Viagra? And he's like, yeah, like you can use it as a party drug. And he's like, but just cut it in quarters and take a quarter of the pill, and it'll have the same effect. Because if you take the whole entire pill, like dude, like you'll fuck like the whole night, but you'll just end up with a massive headache. Like it's not even worth it. Just take a quarter pill. So
It's like the worst like pharmaceutical podcast right now.
so so Sumi gets this Viagra pill, and I told my sister, I'm like, give me that fucking pill. I want to try it. And she's looking at me like it as a party drug. I told her. So I do my the recommendation my friend gave me. Cut it in quarters. I take one quarter, and I'm waiting and waiting and fucking waiting, and nothing happened, dude. I get no boner, and
I think it's
it's
just
just
because you're already so man. You're just so masculine and so brute. It's
and uh and you know, suffice it to say, that night, yeah, Mr. Happy was not happy at all. Yeah, I didn't get anything. So the following night, I actually tell, my girlfriend at the time, my wife, I tell her, hey, I got this Viagra pill. I want to take it. Are you in or are you out? And she's like, whatever, I'm in. So I'm like, all right. So I take the 3/4 that are left, right?
oh
Because
God.
I told my sister, I'm like, this is fucked up. Like, that fucking pill didn't work. And she's like, well, you're supposed to take the whole thing. And I'm like, no, like, I was told a quarter because if you're healthy, yada yada yada, you might get my whole spill, whatever. This time I'm taking all 3/4 of the pill. So I take the pill and I'm waiting, I'm waiting, and I fucking fall asleep, dude.
What is wrong with you?
It acted, you know how it felt like? It felt like ambient.
So, so you're
I
saying
took
all the
my
blood went away from your brain and
I
put you to
took
sleep?
I took Viagra and it felt like taking an ambient and I passed out.
So are you sure that you didn't just get Restorol instead of Viagra?
No, I'm sure it had the Viagra logo of the blue pill and everything. And I took the whole thing and I told Anna what happened, and she's like, "You just passed out." And I'm like, "Did I have a massive boner?" And she's like, "No, I tried to wake you up, and you just started snoring." So I went to bed.
Wow.
Yeah, so Viagra doesn't work for me.
I think it's, and like I
But
said, I think it's just because you're too masculine.
maybe, but I'm willing to try these fucking gas station boner pills. I just need to know which ones are, relatively safe. Like, God knows I don't want to take like female hormones and, you know, all of a sudden I have a vagina.
It doesn't happen that fast. I think you should try it just to see what happens, and then we
Well,
can
yeah, but
talk about it.
I need to know which boner pills are the ones that
Well, that's what I mean.
Ryan Redband
I
is
think
talking
that
about.
every week you should try a new one until you find it.
No, I'm not gonna put up. It's just like a one-time thing. I just really want to turn the lights off and
Oh, I get
get
it.
it on,
I get it. Yeah.
and I want her to go like, yeah, I don't want you to touching me for the next 3 months because I'm in so much pain, and then I can feel like a man and be like, yeah, I did that to you.
Why don't you just go make something out of wood?
Uh,
Oh yeah, so if you know of these pills and you listen to the Joe Rogan show, please email us
yeah,
so that we understand.
email me, say, hey, dude, here's a picture of him.
Oh,
I mean, or if you can buy them online, I don't know. Like, I'll order a sampler.
yeah,
Uh,
from AliExpress.
so, but yeah, I'm interested in these boner pills and see if they actually work.
Oh my goodness. What a way to end.
I know, right?
Boner pills.
Boner pills. Viagra acts like Ambien. I'll
For
put you to sleep.
for Mexicans.
So yeah, so if you're having trouble sleeping or you have insomnia, you can take a fucking Viagra and go to bed, I guess.
Yeah, no big deal. Zumi tried it and it worked for him. Well, do you want to cut it there?
Sure. I think we got a good couple of good laughs.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Talked about everything from headphone etiquette to Canadian border to boner pills. I mean,
Boner pills, yep. Boner pills.
who could say that's not good content? You know. Well,
Some guy's gonna go and look for fucking Viagra and see like, well, let me see if I fall asleep or if I get a massive boner.
and if you do that and you got the idea from this podcast, you need to email us and tell us exactly what happened.
Yeah, make sure you have a woman though, or a partner
A partner.
in case you do have that fucking massive boner. So
Well,
God forbid you end up jerking off all fucking night.
I know I would enjoy this story. Well, let's go ahead and end it there. If you do have any, questions or stories or anything that you might want to hear on the podcast, you can always email us at nbtltpodcast@gmail.com. Go ahead and be sure to go to Facebook, and you can always talk to us at NBTLT Podcast on Twitter.
Twitter.
The one thing that I will say is you can get all of our episodes from iTunes, but if you go onto iTunes, please be kind and go and review our podcast. And actually, we got our first review from Stan the Man. At least I think it's Stan the Man because it has the @ symbols for the A's.
It could be Stone the Man.
Yes, he gave us our first review, and it was a glowing review. So, Stan the Man, we thank you for listening, and thank you for being our first ever iTunes review.
Yep.
That's it.
I'll send you some boner pills if they work.
We should do some fake outro type advertisements. Say we're supported by people that don't actually support us, but
Right.
supported by NASCAR and and Viagra.
Viagra.
Well, we'll see you all next week. I'm Lonnie. That was Zumi. Nobody cares.
Take care, yo.
Have a good night.